During this lesson, we'll create project forecasts. We'll jump right into a demonstration, and what we'll do here is review the different types of forecasts that are available, and then we'll enter some hours, expense, and items forecasts. All right, we're going to go through and create some project forecasts. First thing that I want to talk about is some of the navigation on how to view or create different forecasts and some of the other options as well. So just so you know, under project management and accounting, under transactions, there's the all project forecast list page. It's going to show you all the different forecasts in aggregate of all your projects. So you can go there and review them, and you can actually get into a form off of the list page where you can go create new forecasts as well. I'm not going to get in that in detail, just want to throw that out there. And then also under periodic, we have forecasts, and there's routines that you can run. You can run a copy forecast routine, a delete forecast, and copy forecast the ledger. This is if you want to do any of these in bulk. That's what periodic routines are normally used for. Okay, and then from a reporting standpoint, anywhere that you read budget means forecast as well. So an actual versus budget report is an actual versus forecast report as well. So you can run it against all those reports against your forecasts. Okay, I'm done talking towards that. Just wanted to throw it out there. So what I have here is an actual project. I have it, some forecasts already entered on it, and I just want to take a look. So if you're going to enter forecasts on a specific project, you can come up to the Plan tab on the Action menu, and then there's two sections. There's the Forecast section and the Maintain Forecast section. In a later lesson, we'll talk about the Maintain. For this lesson, we'll just look at all the different views here. So the all forecast is basically just a view where you can go review all the different forecasts that are associated with your project. And basically you can see what forecast model and all the different transaction or all the different columns. So quantities, costs, total cost amount, sales price, etc. What you should notice here is that you cannot create a new one from this specific point. You have delete, and then you have the forecast tab, which actually you can create, but it doesn't allow you to create it directly from here like the other forms does. It actually brings you into the hours forecast. So you can probably take that comment with a grain of salt. You can't create one. You can create one, but it doesn't allow you to create it in this entity because this is just a view. So we'll go back and we'll go back to our project, and we'll look at the forecast group here, and this is where you can forecast at all your different transaction type levels. So hours, expenses, items, fees, on accounts. These are all held in their own tables, and that means that they have their own forms with their own data sources applied to them. So I can go to, for example, hour forecasts, and I can see all my different hour forecasts, and then from here, let's pretend we forgot to add some forecasts, so we're going to create a new one. So we can just create a new record here. And this is where you pick your forecast model. And remember, your forecast model is essentially your forecast, or you can call it budget. It's a one-to-one relation too. So basically, you can define your forecast. And old forecast, or my original forecast, is defaulting in because that's a parameter setup that I have in the project parameters. You have a date, you have your project ID. If you want to get down to the activity level as well, you can, and you can actually make it so activities are required if you want. That's on the project, just a toggle that you have to toggle to require activities. But we'll do this at bare bones minimum. We forgot to put in some installation work into this ERP project, and we can define any piece of data that you can define on an hours transaction, you can define here. So we can say a specific resource that we're expecting to do this, what role we're expecting to do this. So we can say a functional consultant is expected to do the install. You can write a description, but basically this is just like putting in a line on hours journal where you can say, yep, we're expecting 50 hours worth of work through the life of this project. That's what we're forecasting, and we're going to bill them for it. Budget types are relevant here, and then yeah, indirect components are relevant as well too. But now we can look at the general tab, and it just breaks down all the different fields as well in a more granular format, and adds some scheduling functionality. If you want to go ahead and check out the dates, you can. Project date just comes off the overview tab. The invoice date goes based on what you projected as on your contract for invoice frequency. So if you do weekly, it's going to pick the end of the week. If you did monthly, it'd pick the end of the month. Elimination date, that's for if you're using a fixed price project, what date you're planning on eliminating. And then the cost and payment date, those dates default in based off a parameter setup as well in the project module. There is scheduling functionality. This is the secondary project scheduling functionality. It has nothing to do with the scheduling functionality that we looked at in the resource management course. This is actually the manufacturing scheduling engine that you'd be working with here. I'm not going to go through this in detail because in the manufacturing courses they go and they show you how to schedule and all that. It's the same functionality. You can schedule based off of your forecasted hours on projects, and you can use the manufacturing capacity together throughout while using projects, which is the good part about it. But I'll just high level it here. So you can add what your resource requirements are. You can say whether it's a resource group, a resource, maybe a specific resource type, like we just want a human resource. And then you can say whether you're operation or job scheduling. Job scheduling is like hourly. Operation schedule is basically we just want to get it done in a specific day. And then from the scheduling tab, it shows all my different lines that I have. So if I jump to the overview, I have 2, 4, 5 total lines. Scheduling tab is going to show me all the schedules, and then you can plan out your start and end dates and end times if you want. And then basically you just run this resource scheduling piece of like routine here to basically schedule. The other options on the scheduling tab are just, yeah, you can check out capacity load, applicable resources if you're scheduling based on skills, and you can take a look at a Gantt chart as well. And then we have the trade agreement pricing. One piece that I did want to call out is the general ledger preview. So you can take a look at what, if you're going to transfer this over to a ledger budget, what it's going to try and send over, assuming that you toggled all the toggles for sending over P&L, your your WIP accounts and whatever you toggle when you run the GL routine. But it will, and this is actually based off of your forecast model as well. There's different toggles that allow you to forecast WIP and that type of stuff. But yeah, so you can get a general ledger preview. If you have project quotations that have been confirmed, you can actually bring those over, the lines from your quote over as forecast as well. So you can hit transfer quote lines, and it'll show you a list of all the lines that have on project quotes that have been confirmed, and you can select them all, hit OK, and then they'll come in as forecast lines. You can do that outside of this form that we're on as well. But to create this, all you have to do is hit the new button, define really a category, or a date, the project, a category, and then define how many hours, and then mess with the general tab if you are interested in touching the cost and sales price. That gives you the bare bones to put in your hours forecast. So we put in our install hours. Now we'll just go briefly take a look at the other ones. So if I want to forecast some expenses, I can go to the forecast, expense forecast button, and then just hit the new button here. And I'll just pick a category, and we'll say that we have some fuel expenses. We're projecting 1,000, I don't know, whatever 1,000 is, 1,000 gallons worth of fuel at $1.82 a gallon. There we go. And then if you go to the general tab, you can see the sum totals. There it is, $1,800. Maybe I'll bump this up to 10,000. But yeah, if you want to add those totals into the overview tab, you can just by personalizing the page. That's what I normally do. You can take a look at the dates as well, and this has all the same functionality as the hours journal did. You can transfer quote lines, you can look at the trade agreements, meaning the sales prices, and you can get a general ledger preview. So if we go back to the project details and go to the item forecast. All right, so you can see we have some items here, and this is a little different than the other ones. You can create a new line. Your default model will pull in. You can pick whichever model you want. And you can specify a specific item or an item allocation key, which is usually a a lot of different items in an allocation key. So you're going to allocate the forecast through a bunch of items rather than one specific. But if you do know the specific item, like we're going to provide or subcontract some training services, or we're going to need a subcontractor to do that. So we're projecting that we're going to need 100 hours of that at $50 cost, $100 sales price. So those are the training services that we need, and then you can actually allocate that. So if your project's long running and you want to allocate the forecast for all these out, you can. So you could pick like a key, I guess would be one of them, and you can do it. Let's just do a weighted, and the project ends on 3/31/2017. You can hit OK, and it's going to try and allocate it out per month. Here's a sales quantity of roughly 8 to 9, and the amount per allocation bucket there. So you can allocate that out. This has to do with actually master planning as well, because what you're doing is if you have a stocked product, that is, so the software database is a stocked product, and if I hit the inventory forecast, this is basically forecasting a quantity of 5 that we're going to need, so a demand forecast. So if you run master planning, it's going to try and plan that purchase for that specific forecast that we have here. A couple other bells and whistles here. You can create an item requirement off all these different forecasts too, and an item requirement is basically a way from the project module or a project module specific document that you can consume inventory. So from this one we could create an item requirement and it would do so. All these lines, they all have all the stuff that you'd set up on any type of inventory document. It's got the inventory dimensions over here, so what site and warehouse in this case this line is using. It's got the financial information as well, financial dimensions, and it's got what project category it's associated with, the sales price and the cost price, and yeah, that's really it. So we added our line here for training services. It's a quantity of 100, $50 cost price, $100 sales price, and then we allocated it out for inventory purposes. So if you want to add any of these other ones, you definitely can. You just have to go back to your project details, go to the plan tab, forecast group, and then basically forecast whatever transaction type you want.